I was selfish, I was proud, I was the kind of son who believed loyalty was a one-way street. I always said, "We're family, we'll sort it out." I was also blind, blind to the little trades of looks between them, to the whispered deals that didn't include me. I was blind to the slow tilting of a house that I thought would stand forever. I didn't notice the foundation shifting under my feet. I didn't hear when loyalty became a ledger entry and the faces at family dinners turned into poker hands. It started small, a missed call, a cancelled visit, the way my sister's eyes just glided past mine at our father's funeral, like I was a ghost already. Then came the letter. It was small, signed, notarized, and surgical. They had sold the house I'd grown up in, the house my mother had died in, where I'd buried my first secrets. They sold it without telling me, split the money, and called it settling the estate. When I called, the voice on the other end, my brother's voice, was calm. "Businesslike, we did what had to be done," he said. "You weren't in a state to manage things. We thought it was for the best. That word sat in my chest like a stone. I drove to the old address and watched strangers move my mother's ceramic cat into a U-Haul, like it weighed nothing at all. I watched a man plant a new mailbox right where my name used to be, and I laughed. It was this short, ugly sound, because none of it felt real. For months I was a ghost in the city that had raised me. I crashed on friends' couches, rented a room that smelled faintly of someone else's regrets. At work I just nodded and functioned, but on the inside I was fraying. I replayed every argument, every small slight, wondering if I deserved it. That was one voice, the one that whispered I'd been a failure, but the louder voice was anger. Not the explosive kind you see in movies. This was a low, methodical furnace, slowly teaching me how to plan. I decided to learn the ledger too. While they thought I was off licking my wounds, I was studying how money moved, how their little favors and corporate ties wove them into a neat legal web. My brother had used his position at a small firm to refile paperwork. My cousin had quietly brokered the legalities. My sister had been the face all. Sympathetic tears, a performance that got her the notary's signature. They'd made betrayal look like care. That's what hurt the most. Revenge in movies is a fist fight and a montage. Real revenge is bureaucracy. It's patience. It's learning the quiet language of systems, contracts, public records, tax filings. It's learning how to unspool a lie by shining a light on every single knot. I took a job at a small legal aid clinic. It wasn't noble. It was practical. You learn an awful lot about how the world counts things when you make it your job to count them for other people. I read deeds until my eyes burned. I studied corporate filings. I learned how to request archived phone logs, how to file a motion to reopen an estate when new facts appear. I made friends with clerks who were kind, bored, and had a surprising fondness for coffee and the truth. I started gathering proof, the emails my brother tried to delete, saved by a cloud backup. The meeting notes my cousin thought were offline. The contract amendment signed the day after my mother's funeral. Little things, things my family assumed I'd never find because they assumed I'd just run away forever, but I didn't want to break them. I wanted them to feel the same quiet dismay I had felt, that slow, sickening unraveling that leaves you with nothing but your own conscience. So I did something that felt kinder than a blow. I requested a meeting at the bank where the sale had gone through and invited my siblings. They came smug, dressed in their family armor, sympathy worn like a tuxedo. I showed the banker the missing paperwork, the notarized promises that contradicted each other, the digital record proving the sale had been rushed through with a clear conflict of interest. I just let the banker read. He read slowly, like someone tasting poison. The bank froze, the transfer pending an investigation. The local papers, the ones that love family drama, smelled a story. A lawyer called my brother, asking questions in a tone he wasn't used to. My cousin's deals started to unravel. The notary who signed the papers felt the heat and resigned from a post he'd been using for favors. They weren't ruined. No one went to jail, but they had to answer, in public, in papers and ledgers and a room full of uncomfortable neighbors, for the thing they thought they'd done in secret. That night my sister called. Her voice broke in a way it never had at the funeral. "You made them return the money," she said. You did this. I gathered facts, I answered. You hid them, she said. We thought you wouldn't fight. We thought you'd just disappear. That old arrogance, so paternal and familiar, suddenly sounded smaller, like a child hiding behind a grown-up's mask. I didn't scream. I didn't yell. I just told her one thing. You broke the house. You sold our mother's home. There is no fixing that, but you can decide what kind of people you want to be now. We hung up. I don't know if she slept that night. They returned the money. They signed an agreement to divide the estate fairly under court supervision. My name was on the deed again, a cold little signature that felt like a plaster on a fractured bone. Neighbors whispered, wondering if I'd won or if I'd just started a longer war. People online wrote articles about family betrayals. I thought I'd feel triumphant. Instead, I just felt exhausted. The furnace of anger that had kept me alive for months cooled into something quieter and harder to name. I had set things right with paper and court, but I still carried this jagged emptiness where the house used to be. Months later, I sat on the cracked marble porch of the house with a cup of bad coffee and watched a neighborhood kid chase a stray dog across the lawn. The house smelled like dust and old paint and a million small memories. I ran my fingers over the initials carved into the door hours and realized revenge had given me something I hadn't expected: clarity. The moral wasn't that vengeance was noble or that proving them wrong healed me. It was the opposite. Revenge closed a door, but it also opened one I hadn't seen, the door through which forgiveness might someday walk, not because I forgave them, but because I needed to forgive myself for being part of a family that let things rot. I called my sister the next week. We didn't speak for long. She said she was sorry and she meant it in a way that didn't fix everything. I told her I'd help catalog the things in the attic, so we could decide what to keep, what to give away, and what to bury with better intentions. I was the one who learned to fight in the language of ledgers and law. I was the one who made them account for what they'd done, and I learned what mattered most. Justice can be necessary, but revenge only rebuilds a different kind of emptiness. Real redemption is slower. It's the work we do after the loud part ends, the picking up, the naming, the quiet decisions to be better than what we became. You can make someone pay for their betrayal, but that payment won't refill the space inside you. True repair starts when you stop proving their guilt and start building something honest again, even if that something is only the small, careful life you reclaim after the house is gone. Thank you for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, I'd appreciate it if you liked the video and subscribed for more. Take care.